Oh, here we are. Cozies in the house.
Cool. There we go. Cozies. Let's pull it up. I invited Cozies to speak.
Yeah, and also Andrew.
Cool. Let me see. I got you, Andrew, as well. Yeah, so the Cozies account needs to, if they want to come up as a speaker, they need to accept. But otherwise, I got you both in here.
Hey.
Cool. Just let me know when you guys are ready to rock and roll.
Can we pull Cozies up and maybe give Cozies
yes. So I invited Cozies to speak. You need to, whoever's on the account needs to accept.
Got it. All right. I think we're set and ready and cozy.
Cool, man. Right on.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, Whale Coin Talk community. My name is Noah, and I'm here today with the Cozies team. Gentlemen, before we get started, you want to give us a quick background of yourselves, your career paths, and how you got to be working in the crypto industry today?
Sure. So I've been in crypto since 2016. Originally, I was in Los Angeles working as a financial advisor, and came across Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there's been this fintech course at MIT talking about blockchain technology. It was like I kind of decided to study a lot more about it, and very quickly realized that okay, blockchain is going to be like the financial infrastructure fabric for all fintech to be built on in the near future. And that's when I decided, okay, I think this is the next big thing, and timing is right now. Maybe this is calling. So I decided to just quit my job as a financial advisor and just went all in. Originally, due to my grandfather's health, I decided to move back to Asia, specifically Taiwan. And I was just, learning around the ropes, attending different coffee shops, meetups, and sort of stuff. And then I got involved with a little media company, and then eventually I started doing some conference circuits. That's why a lot of people know me for running around conferences and stuff. And that eventually led me to do my first big event called Asia Blockchain Summit. And after 3 years of hosting ABS, we've had big speakers like CZ, Arthur Hayes, SBF in these early days, man. I still vividly remember me talking to SBF in the early days. Is quite remarkable. But so in 3 years time span, we're able to kind of amass like a big giant network of 20,000 blockchain professionals worldwide. I've helped numerous companies in the crypto space to connect different kinds of opportunities. Some people say I'm arguably the most connected person over in Asia, but I like to keep it humble sometimes. And it's because of COVID, events business kind of took a major hit, and that's kind of where we realized that, okay, trying to discover what the next big thing is. And around the time of DeFi Summer 2020, decided to get my hands a little dirty to kind of getting to know kind of manage communities and becoming moderators of sorts. And I think there's one particular project called Don't Buy Meme that combined the DeFi and NFTs, and that's kind of where I saw the full-on potential of NFTs, bringing forth a digital renaissance that we've been waiting for all this long, right? Bringing true digital ownership to the digital creators out there. And so I thought about, I think that how meaningful would it be if we could add in like a therapeutic component, as a kind of utility, whereas most of the NFTs at a time was just kind of visual aesthetics, etc. So I thought about creating a marketplace to collect therapeutic sounds, and eventually it led into kind of me discovering this new type of content called ASMR. And and then we decided to dig deeper and realize that ASMR is such a soothing type of content that people with great anxiety, stress, and insomnia consume on a day-to-day basis to help them kind of ease and feel comfortable. And I was looking for great talent, people, and kind of came across Adrian, who was really interested in ASMR. That's kind of how we connected, and we decided to just get started and build Extingles together. And Extingles stands for Experience Tingles, which is kind of the sensation you feel when listening to ASMR. And after working with a lot of different artists in the ASMR space, we were helping them kind of bridge the gap of Web 2 to Web 3, because they were highly dependent on these YouTube newsfeed algorithm. They're highly dependent on these Twitch news algorithms. Sometimes they get censored because the content was not got flagged by their AI or sorts. And we wanted to help these artists, so we wanted to help them build their NFTs. And then that's initially, after kind of doing a couple of drops, we really helped them out. But we kind of realized that there's a bigger grand vision ahead of us, as we kind of realized that ASMR is bringing forth this kind of new kind of treatment and wellness. We thought that, okay, let's restructure our company a little bit, and let's start putting our focus on building an ecosystem of a Web3 wellness ecosystem, so that we can position Extingles ASMR in a much more positive light, right? And after we started Deep Life Labs and worked with a couple of different artists, we realized that, okay, I think that the real way for us to really pioneer such a potential well-being wellness movement is when we need to create our own Web3 media brand, right? And after a couple of discussion, we decided to kind of shelf Extingles on the sidelines for a bit at the moment, and kind of channel all our energy and create a brand new IP. And I kind of, out of a couple of discussions with a couple of friends and the partners on the board, we came across this term. We just started talking about cozy. That sounds so cozy, and it became more fun. And then I looked into the Oxford Dictionary and realized, the definition of cozy means feeling comfortable, relaxed, and warmth, while the Oxford Dictionary for meaning for well-being is a state of feeling comfortable, happy, or healthy. So it kind of linked up a bridge there, where it's like cozy is, because we had this massive epiphany. All of a sudden, it's like, happiness is a choice, and it starts with feeling cozy. And all of a sudden, when this clicked, we think that, okay, we would like to start, a brand new a Web3 media brand that focuses on kind of bettering people's well-being and sharing this cozy identity, which is being cozy with who you are, what you own, and where you go. And we believe that we'll be pioneering this Web3 a cozy movement to really bring forth this cozy ideology to people out there, in hopes that we can create a cozy ecosystem for people to further expand on the idea and notion of cozy. So that's kind of a little brief about why we started Cozies, and here we are.
Great. And Adrian, I don't want to cut you off. Did you have anything to add to that before we start to kind of unpack things and talk more about the NFT project and the ecosystem that you guys are building?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew pretty much covered it all, as in the intro. As your question was kind of with respect to how we came into crypto, I can do a little intro of myself. That's okay. So me, myself, a bit more humble beginnings into crypto than Andrew. I was into content production and entrepreneurship and music back in the day, but 2020, I was doing ASMR. And as Andrew said, we stumbled upon each other and just started building Extingles. And this ASMR is really about intimacy, trust, and warmth, and it's kind of a natural progression that led us to Cozies, and that's pretty much how we met. And me personally, myself, I've been into gaming and for all my life, like MMOs, RPGs, MMORPGs, and this MMO kind of feeling that I get from NFTs and the community and the storytelling that a lot of projects do. It's kind of what inspired me a lot when we were creating the community, writing the story for Cozies. But we will talk about that, I suppose, in more detail later. But that's a brief intro on me too. Yeah, and by the way, thank you guys for hosting this, Noah. This is great. I really appreciate the platform.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. And not to go off on too much of a tangent, but MMORPGs are also my favorite genre of video game, and I'm a big lover of the WoW Classic trilogy, the original trilogy. But I don't want to go on a tangent. We can be on here for hours
Yeah.
talking about all that, guys. Before we start talking about all things cozy, can you first share your thoughts on the current NFT culture? Just general idea of what are some positives, what are some things you don't like, and what needs to happen for a brighter future.
Yeah. So I think that by this time around, you know, um, some of us experience some rug pulls, some gambling, some speculation, some very degenerate stuff that's been happening in the past couple of months to where we are today. Like even myself, I was holding on to an ape, and then like this other buddy came to me and said, "Yo, you gotta sell your ape. Ape's no future, and like, why don't you pick up some of this other collection?" And but these group of anonymous founders they're so great, and then I sold, and it was kind of right before the mutants Sirens came out, and boom, I got rugged. So it's kind of like I think this is there are similar experiences out there. You know, people are just really about this whole hype, this whole like speculative nature, and I think that in the grand scheme of things, considering we're kind of going through like a maybe like arguably a winter market, maybe there's gonna be a prolonged winter market, because if you look at how macroeconomics of things, like, you know, we see that in the U.S. credit card applications are off the roof in the past 60 years, and euros has fallen under $1, as well as, you know, there's this big real estate crisis, real estate bubble in mainland China. So I think that I think the market as a whole, it doesn't look very it doesn't outlook as for the next year or so. It looks like it's gonna be a prolonged bear, and given like this prolonged bear market possibility, I think that we need a different kind of we need a different kind of mentality that bring in much more faith, courage, and comfort to the long-term thinkers, long-term builders out there, right? And this is probably a good segue where I can talk about kind of bring out like Denmark is a country, is the happiest country in the world, and the reason why they're the happiest country in the world is because there's this mindset called hygge, right? And hygge is this idea of just, you know, enjoying the little pleasures, dailies, having a happy moment with you or a group of friends, you know, be it kind of going in a cozy corner in their house reading a book, or playing some instruments, or just, you know, going out with their friends, enjoying a slice of pizza, just having a happy moment while you're trying, like some people say, escape the reality or just extend the reality. Just like just being, you know, giving time for yourself to love yourself, you know, in a way, to hug yourself, to love yourself. That's one of this hygge mindset is very prevalent. That's why it actually emerged out of this cold winter time when people in Denmark were suffering, and this hygge was what brought them warmth in their heart and in their soul. And the translation with the word hygge is actually cozy. So we think that you know, pioneering such a Web3 cozy movement is essential when everybody is kind of got lost all their money from all sorts of rugs and scams and whatever. I think people are kind of like dealing with day-to-day, you know, fatalism of like they cannot control their future of sorts. I think that we need to bring forth this cozy mindset shift paradigm for people to really feel more empowered, you know, to continue and feel happy and just, you know, hang out with a group of other community that share the same values and beliefs, you know. So that's why, you know, I think that we believe that Cozies is onto something important for the Web3 space here. Yeah.
Right on. And Adrian, anything to add to that, or should I move on to the next question?
Yeah, yeah, if I may add, just I think this is a very digital space. Obviously, it's predominantly digital, and this degenerate culture that we have claimed for ourselves, while it has provided us, like, given us so much up to this point, maybe it actually has kickstarted what the future actually looks like. Web3, NFTs, but at the same time, as Andrew said, I think it's giving us just a very anxious time in the space. I think that's why a lot of people are leaving. I read so many tweets about mental health every day, and I think Huga and coziness, the cozy movement, really promotes just reaching out to each other, valuing the small things in life, being comfortable with who you are, and if I can just quote Mike Viking, he's a writer of a book about Huga, and he has a really interesting way to put it. That Huga is like a warm hug, but without the physical contact. And if we can reach out to each other and feel a certain level of warmth, even in a digital space, even in places really far away from each other, I think this is a very powerful thing. And I think coming all together around a concept such as being cozy can really have a powerful impact.
And gentlemen, you guys have talked a lot about the cozy art, the strategy, the execution plan, and it's really about making people feel good, making people feel empowered, cozy. And these are kind of, or at least the way that I'm perceiving them, kind of like generic terms. Can you dive into a bit more detail to exactly how these NFTs are going to be making people feel good about themselves, how these NFTs are going to be spreading positive vibes, and all the great things that you've discussed so far, in the last 15, 20 minutes of the AMA?
Yeah, sure. Uh, Actually, this is one thing that we brought up very early in the development of Cozies, which was how the fuck do we make this cool, right? Because yeah, there's a lot of things that people develop as ideas that sound good, that they provide value, and they actually do, right? They provide value, but how do you make something cool? How do you make something a person wants to buy, something a person wants to be a part of, right? And that's a difficult thing because not every skateboarding brand achieves this, even if the concept of skateboarding is cool, right? Not every game sells out because there's just this feeling of something cool. And I think what makes something cool is obviously to have a certain edge to it and a certain unapologetic self-expression to it, right? And being cozy and comfortable and sleeping in your bed and having a blanket over you, doesn't really sound really cool. I have to admit at first point, but we've worked on a lot of that, a lot on that through the art style, through the story, through all of the traits that we have developed meticulously with our team, and the whole identity, and what it tries to solve. So, like, when it comes to the art style, right? It's based on these characters who are turning away from the noise and the trends and the general noise, right? And they're looking ahead. And we thought that we've never seen a collection in the past that doesn't have a face at all. And we thought that this would bring like a huge amount of edginess, as cliche as it sounds, but um, as if your character doesn't really care about the noise, about other people's opinions, and they're trying to experience their own journey, looking ahead, and experiencing, learning about the world outside, but also the world within. And yeah, we experimented a lot with colors, with the story as well. Actually, our tech lead gave the original idea about being based around a platform and potentially a train, but that's maybe something that will happen in the future. And through the story, this is another way that we thought that we could make this a bit more palatable and a bit cooler. No, as I said, I've been a fan of RPGs for a while now, and everything from Morrowind or Fallout or The Witcher. I think people really learn and accept things from stories, the hero's journey. People resonate with a progression that feels realistic, feels believable. Even in a fantasy world, you can still build believable characters, right? And I think using storytelling here has been a very powerful tool for us to get our message across. I personally treat when I create a community, I really do treat it as an MMORPG with characters to interact with and with like believable themes that make you feel like you're in some place, not just on a Discord server. And yeah, so I think these are some ways that we have decided to spice up this concept that on first glance might seem a bit boring. Let's say.
Right on. And Andrew, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think that so um so just we really want to put things into context here. Okay, so if we look at media franchises like Disney and Mickey Mouse, right? So Mickey Mouse came about around the time of 1930s. It's like kind of like a peak of the Great Depression. And the first video that came out, which is black and white, Mickey kind of on the steamboat, singing the tunes and driving the steamboat. And when people saw that animation, the black and white animation without sound, they felt like, they felt this sense of hope, of optimism, and very happy. Where everything, the stock market, the real estate, everything is under the water. They saw Mickey Mouse as a sense of hope. And this is why what we have very strong conviction is that in a bear market, as we enter a bear market, or as we kind of we're in the bear market, entertainment and culture, arts, entertainment, and culture always have their position in the economy, right? If you think about, some of the greater media franchises today, like Pokemon, Hello Kitty, as well as Naruto, or even we bring up like a Toy Story, even Finding Nemo. These are big, significant media franchises, media brands that came about, at a market condition that's not so good, and it served a societal purpose of bringing people this opportunity to fantasize, to fall in love, and to feel happy, and to just be drawn to this story world that is not it brings in this fun to their day-to-day life, right? This little fantasy, right? So what we're doing here with Cozies is kind of similar in the sense that we're here to build a Web3 media brand, okay? That revolves around this open-ended story setting, okay? So what do we mean by open-ended story setting? Okay, so the certain settings that we've built into Cozies is like there's like a chaotic society, it's kind of symbolizing the Web3 degen culture, chaotic society, and there's a group of people who are fed up with everything, this degen culture, and decide to just go ahead and leave, drop everything and leave, and go wait at a train platform, in which we call the Cozy platform, to embark on a journey of self-discovery and bettering their well-being, with other creative community individuals, right? And the story stops at just that. The moment the train leaves, and the story stops there, right? And then if you look at the characters, the character artwork, you'll see like the character is holding on to different items, with a mechanical companion, and then going into this new environment on an adventure. That's where we would like our Cozies holders to further expand on this open-ended story, and this is what's really interesting, because as we kind of representing the Cozies Foundation, as we continue to tweak and build and strengthen this cozy movement brand, right? We foresee the possible one day future where Cozies NFT holders can go ahead and build their own extended cozy businesses, right? To bring forth this cozy awareness or cozy mindset to everything they do, everything they build, and all the communities they lead, So I think that we're onto something very fascinating, and we're love to have all of you take part of this journey with us. So invite you all to go on this journey with Cozies. Right.
So, gentlemen, let's talk tokenomics for just a moment here. How many Cozy tokens are going to be, or excuse me, Cozy NFTs are going to be part of your Genesis drop? What's going to be the minting cost per?
Right. So so there will be 10,000 NFTs, and then in particular we'll be launching after the Ethereum POS merger. Just on a side note, it's great that we're finally moving to POS. It's great for the environment. It's near carbon neutral. It's a really bright future, and we want kind of Cozies to kind of somewhat symbolize that this one of the first initial collections to come out to be only exclusively minted on the ETH POS merge, right? And some minting process we're currently thinking of. So we're collaborating with multiple different projects, giving out different allow lists for people to participate, and the allow list will become one of those first come first serve where you can mint up to 2, and on top of that, there's going to be a public sale, which is we're going to allow people to mint up to 5 Cozies NFTs, and we've reserved around 300 for the team and some thoughts about the direction of the utilities that we're researching and deciding what we're going to do. Because in the end of the day, it's just like, all the decisions we make needs to be aligned with the art direction we're pursuing and also the brand we're building. And most important of all, to balance a freedom of creativity between the Cozies Foundation and the Cozies NFT holders. Okay, I'm going to explain that right now. So one area of aspect we're looking at is Soulbound Tokens. I think that Soulbound Tokens has massive amount of potential there. For instance, Soulbound Tokens could become one of those passport badges where passport stamps where you would travel, you would participate in a journey that another Cozies NFT holder created, and then you can get a PO-up in the form of SBT to kind of symbolize that you've been taking. Again, you've been part of there, right? And as well as more interesting Soulbound Tokens is where we can create issues kind of lifetime passes for specific services that we're thinking about creating, and as well as kind of it kind of like if you think about it, things in terms of like your reputation with your on-chain history, like you choosing to interact with a smart contract that gives you a Soulbound token and indicates that you are somewhat supportive. You're willing to bound this token with the address forever with you, right? And so we have multiple different ideas around the lines of how do we kind of build forth this open-ended story with providing our holders with this with this SBT contracts for them to go ahead and build upon it, and so SBT is something really big, largely discussed internally, and also another thing that we're actively discussing is our wrapper contract. So wrapper contract is where you kind of insert your Cozies NFTs, your ERC-721A, into this extended either kind of another ERC-721A or 1155 or etc. other contract, where all of a sudden you can add a lot more dynamic utility on top of it, right? We made a deliberate choice with our NFTs for the token URI to store the images on IPFS. I know that CloneX stored their images on their own server, and I think that there's certain risk along those lines because it's not as decentralized as people think through. But I hope I'm not kind of raising people's hairs right now. But we made a deliberate decision for original NFTs to not have fancy utilities because we want to keep it very simple. We want to make sure that this NFT is going to stay with you, an image is going to be there, and then it's always going to be symbolized as this one single NFT without adding any kind of additional complexity. The complexity, the dynamic, the fun utility stuff is going to come when we start introducing the different wrapper contracts to the community people out there. For instance, the wrapper contract can have a token URI that points to AWS link, right? And once you have points, once you kind of, for instance, you insert your Cozies NFT in the wrapper contract, and then all of a sudden you can upgrade your NFTs with different traits. You know, you can upgrade with different mechanical companions, you upgrade different sceneries, or you can upgrade. You can even kind of insert soulbound tokens into these wrapper contract so that all of a sudden it can take on a whole new different form all by itself. So this is where this whole dynamic utility of unlimited exploration, unlimited creativity can always emerge. And what we're going to do is we're going to be providing these tools for the community builders, community developers, community people to further expand on this, right? So and yeah, so these are kind of the two main directions into utilities that we're thinking about. Definitely, the things along the lines of real world events. Like I come from an events business, so if Cozies ever throws a party, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna make you cry. You're gonna feel so much joy, and it's gonna be so heartwarming because we're really about kind of bringing forth this cozy mentality for people to just really be comfortable with who they are and what they own and where they go. So this is like a very different cultural value, that cultural rationality that we're really bringing forth to the Web3 space that's not present currently.
Andrew, I'm glad you mentioned Soulbound Tokens. I know Vitalik Buterin is a huge fan and sees a bright future for those. We actually had David Shin on from Clayton a couple months ago, and he emphasized the importance of Soulbound Tokens. Can you discuss and explain a bit more about how you and the Cozy ecosystem and kind of your team is planning on utilizing and integrating Soulbound Tokens into your ecosystem sometime in the near future, or rather in the distant future?
Well, I can share with you, the discussions internally about the kind of different functional things that we're discussing around Soulbound Tokens, but I cannot say exactly what we're going to do with it because it ties very, we care deeply about the brand, we care deeply about the art direction. So, but I can share with you some of the things that we've been discussing, right? So, with Soulbound Tokens, they're essentially Soulbound Tokens are tokens you cannot transfer, out of your wallet, right? Then this concept emerged kind of World of Warcraft, there's Soulbound armor, Soulbound weapons, where you can win the quest and it sticks with you forever, right? And then, but the thing is, a lot of people don't know is that you can actually add different clauses where you can turn Soulbound token into a conditional or partial Soulbound token. For instance, like, this token stays with you. However, if you interact with another wallet address or interact with another contract, you can actually move the Soulbound token away, right? So these are kind of like conditional or partially Soulbound tokens that we think that can be very, very powerful for kind of future expansion of other utilities out there, right? And then yeah, and along the lines of okay, let me just give you some ideas here. We're going to be partnering up with different fashion brands. I cannot name which, where we're going to be doing some Soulbound token drops where Cozies NFT holders will get specific kind of Soulbound fashion traits that look very different and very, very unique. But the thing is, but the nature of Soulbound token is there is no secondary market value. You cannot trade it. Right. So what's the whole point of this? The whole point of Soulbound tokens is like you can think about it as like reinforcing your on-chain identity, right? Or you can also kind of see this as kind of memorabilia, right? But I think that the moment you start treating your on-chain transactions as a way how you build your own personal reputation, either as a as an anonymous individual or as a pseudo-anonymous individual or as a verified individual, your on-chain history becomes very important. So these soulbound tokens, as you interact, or comes to your wallet, it symbolizes kind of what you believe or what you choose to do, or just letting people to know a little bit about kind of some of the decision choices you make. And we really want to bind that to all the. We want to provide such a utility to all the cozy NFT holders as they further go on expand their open-ended story, and we feel like I feel like maybe one day everybody, a cozy NFT holders will create their own mini metaverse, their own mini extension animation of a story, and then of a journey in another world where they invite other cozy holders to use this soulbound contract that we provide them with to further expand, upon that story, that journey that we want to share. Yeah.
Right on, man. I mean, it sounds like you've spoken about this extensively, and obviously you do have some plans, although not concrete, for how you guys plan on utilizing these in the future. Andrew, I'm curious to know what issues you see with the way projects interface with their communities and what Cozy is doing differently, what you guys are doing differently.
Adrian, you want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, pleasure. So what other projects might be doing incorrectly? Well, in my opinion, the first thing that we actually thought about when building our community, more specifically the Discord community, is that from my personal experience, when I enter an NFT Discord server, I usually don't stay. I haven't really been a part of a really rigorous and passionate part of a community for a while. I mean, I stick around in some, but usually when I enter a Discord, it's so flooded with so many channels. It's such a chaos, and I feel like a mess. It's not tidy at all. It's not cozy at all, and it's just from a design point of view, I don't like it, and we don't like it. But also when you have a new member come into your community, you want obviously to retain their attention, right? And you want them to feel like they have a nice place to come back to, and a potential community that they can connect and resonate with. But when you have so many channels and so many unnecessary points of interest, none of them really matter that much. There's not a lot of weight to them, and it's really difficult for a new member to catch up because you have a million channels, and it's just a nightmare to really go back and see what every single channel is about and catch up with everyone. So my approach when building the community was again, as I said, pretty much like a game. There's a story and setting consistency between all the channels. They're as interactive as possible. For example, in our Discord server, we have a nice little robot, Jeeves, that you might have seen, who has a separate satellite Twitter account. Jeeves has again like an MMO or an interaction with an NPC. We've built a bot that can answer your questions and you can interact with. So he answers your question in an actually um, engaging and immersive way while saving a lot of space from the server itself. And we like to do things like that to create interesting events, to engage people in the storyverse that we have set in. Um, and this means a lot to us from a story standpoint because this is the foundation that we have built when it comes to the IP itself, right? So if our IP is to grow and if we're to create a truly remarkable IP, I think it obviously starts with the community. And as we've seen with a lot of projects like Azuki or Isekai Meta, or even bigger ones, even Board Ape Yacht Club. All of them have a very interesting story setting, and we've decided to take it one step further with our Discord and make our Discord the cozy platform. And this is an actual place that you can visit. And we have really cool, innovative ideas from that we discussed with our tech lead David, because he's also an MMO nerd that spent too much of his time of his life in WoW. But we are trying to gamify the Discord experience and truly push its boundaries. I wish I could say more, but it would be a spoiler. But we genuinely think that within the NFT space, Discord is severely underutilized, and we can't wait to experiment a lot with it. And so, yeah, when it comes to community in general, like the general term community, we're really excited to build a community around a certain set of values and create a movement, because this is what Cozies is about. A sort of introducing a mindset shift that isn't new, but it's something that we have forgotten to do. And the power of community and people creating around an IP, I think, is very, very strong, which a lot of projects have done so far. But we look forward to new ways in which the narrative is developed on our side, so we can create an interesting foundation that can spark emotion and a new level of creativity that we hope will create something very new and that we have not seen before. So yeah.
Fantastic. Very thorough explanation, Adrian. Gentlemen, I wanted to talk a bit about the artwork. Can you tell us who designed it, what it means, what inspired it, all that good stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to quickly jump in before I pass it on to Adrian here. So we started sometime around January, and we work with, like, I personally cold outreach messaged 1,000 artists, be it kind of through Instagram, be it through Behance, be it through just website emails and stuff. Like, I'll reach a lot of artists, right? And over the course of time, we've developed about 11 prototypes to leading to where we are today. All right. And what I would say is just like, this I I after going through 11 prototypes, I have such a deep appreciation for the great artists out there on the notion of craftsmanship. Just we really went through some really detailed discussions on how we, first of all, like, why is it the characters looking ahead? Like some people say they're turning their backs away. Why? It's the more we think about it, it's like this character is so focused in their journey ahead. This is looking forward to the new adventure, the new journey for them to better their own well-being with the different with their own new companions, with the different items they're carrying. It just showcases this joy, this comfort, courage of where they're going, right? And 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 just this, man, 11 prototypes, and it's been 8+ months in the making. I think that we've grown to be very emotionally attached to this final iteration that we released into the market. Our team is extremely proud for the work we're about to put out. And Adrian, why don't you do the slam dunk on more about our work here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, first of all, like, yes, we are really emotionally attached to the characters, which I have to admit sometimes is a problem, because this is a bias when you have to make decisions. So yeah, if I can give any advice, is take a step back sometimes when you're creating something that you spend a lot of time on, because you can't make clear-headed decisions sometimes. And an outside opinion is always good. That's why we have reached out to a lot of experts to help us out and keep us in a direction where we're actually evolving and adding on to the art instead of stagnating and making something that just one person likes or yeah. But when it comes to the art, it's obviously very much inspired by the story setting that we have going on. um, there's a couple of elements. So first of all, obviously, is a cozy element. The coziness is prevalent in the clothing, and we want to show like a very comfortable streetwear. Initially, we actually were thinking about kind of loungewear and relaxing clothes, but we were really inspired by streetwear fashion. And for example, I went to Korea Blockchain Week about a month ago, and people were there just fucking beautiful. Like every single person just dresses like a model, and it's pretty amazing. And I think this streetwear culture really represents kind of a revolt and a rebellious nature. And this is a way that you can communicate that yeah, I can feel comfortable and wear something that is just really, really impactful, which is pretty amazing, I think. So it's you can see that in a lot of the editions. The tech as well. Obviously, tech is a symbol for Web three and what it has given us and what it will continue giving us. So the characters are decked out with technology, with tech pets, bionic augmentations. We call the bionic augmentations. We've internally called them scars of the past. So they're kind of that. It means that even if you're running away from the city, which the characters are doing, they still have scars on them of what it has done to them, and this is a good thing because you are your previous experiences, like it or not, and they are using it to their advantage, and they're trying to make the world a better place with it. And also, like, I really like sci-fi, and I really like the cyberpunk aesthetic as well. And this is something that really I think adds to that coolness factor, right? And I really like to dumb it down to just the word cool sometimes because cool is what people like, right? And if it's cool, then you resonate with it, and feels like um, it feels like it goes out of the ordinary rhythm, right? And of course, there's the aspect of the journey, and the journey obviously the hero's journey, the journey to self-discovery, the journey to personal growth. It's represented in a lot of the traits as well. And yeah, color is something that is very, very important to us. We like to be color consistent wherever we can, not only within the art but outside of it, within the website, which will launch very soon, and within the community, and even internal communication sometimes. And yeah, color, we've decided to stay with very soft, inviting colors, and have a certain contrast with some of the sharpness of some of the traits. And I think it's very light on the eyes, which we really like because it's kind of consistent with what our values represent in general. And yeah, that's pretty much some of the thought process that we've had when it comes to the art style. So yeah, Andrew, if you want to add anything
Yeah.
else.
So I just want to say, like, my profile photo is prototype 9, while Adrian is the final iteration that's came about. Um, Definitely one of the bigger differences, like, we added this whole sci-fi or cyberpunk mechanical component that to new character designs. And some of the, like, for instance, if you look at Adrian's kind of mechanical backpack that he's carrying, it's like there's a little goldfish in there, so it's kind of like it's the image itself, and it's also a drone on the side. The image itself is like this carrying this auspiciousness of just these little symbolism of goldfish to somewhere new, going on an adventure while the drone kind of scouts out all the different terrains out there ahead of them. So I think that we think that adding this mechanical companion and adding these traits that symbolizes long-term thinking, and also as one of like long-term journey, I think it really makes it makes people curious about how can they go ahead and fill in the blanks for the open-ended story that we've laid out there. So that's kind of we're really, really proud, for artworks, and we want people to feel more calm when they look at it as well.
Yeah, and we've also put in quite a few Easter eggs for, let's say, just the future, too.
Wow, that's awesome, guys. It really does sound like you've put in a lot of effort, time, detail, care, consideration into this project, not just with the artwork, but with the utilities, with the future vision, and kind of with how you're trying to shift the NFT space paradigm. So kudos to you, hats off to you. We have a little bit of time here, and I want to get to some audience questions. I want to go with Aisha first, and then we have a couple more hands up.
Thank you, Noah. So I was wondering, will holder of the Cozy NFTs have trademark rights to the particular character?
Oh, so with respect to what kind of IP we're using and how we will provide copyrights, right?
No, not copyright, trademark rights. Uh, I mean, holder of the Cozy NFTs, will they have trademark rights to the particular character?
I see. Yeah, so with respect to trademarks and commercial rights, we've decided to go with the A16Z non-exclusive commercial rights format, where we also retain exploitation rights, and also there is a termination for hate speech. So basically, what we do is once a person buys an NFT, they receive commercial rights. They can utilize their intellectual property to their own cozy NFT as they wish, as long as it does not promote hate speech. While they can use it for anything really, to create art, to create a business based on it, and just to expand however they wish. But at the same time, we're also retaining creator exploitation rights for ourselves, so we can expand the IP and create a better foundation for people to also build upon. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, understood. And Cozy's NFTs are featuring wonderful characters. You mentioned that owners can create animations. So it got me thinking, do you have any intention of creating comic series or animated series featuring all the Cozy's NFTs characters? And you can also reveal the faces of the characters.
Right. So, we need to keep a very fine balance of the freedom of creativity here. If we went ahead to design all the story components, everything, and animations and stuff, I think that we no longer fulfill our promise of having an open-ended story anymore, right? But what we will be doing is we'll be adding more colors, adding more details to what happened before the journey. Okay, what happened before the train station? Just to emphasize that the reason why we're encouraging people to go embark on a cozy journey, because of all the dark side of things within the society that we're in, right? As well as fill in more details to some of the traits that we put together, so that when people go ahead and take on and build their own animations, their own comics. They can get these enough clues, enough details that aligns with the mother brand, the Cozies mother brand we're building to further expand on it. So it's really about finding a very delicate freedom of creativity here, and we're positioned as kind of as we speak right now, like we're really kind of in a position as like a Cozy's foundation, where to keep a really fine balance of things. It's just like you would never like imagine Ethereum Foundation also owns MetaMask, creates MetaMask. Like, it doesn't really make much sense, right? So we're really trying to like creating this fine line between, okay, we're providing our creators, our Cozy's identity holders, enough tools, enough utilities for them to take it on the whole new level there. Right. I think a really good analogy that I would say is just where, without a doubt, I mean, Yuga Labs deeply inspirational. But what they've done is like they created this like Web3 equivalent of Supreme, right? And because of this Supreme Yuga brand is so strong, the holders of these apes went ahead to do their expand their own business. For instance, is the board burger joined. There's there's a DJ called Ape Rave Club. There's all the different types of extensions of people kind of animating their apes and bringing it to life, right? So we want to keep a very fine balance. I think our main focus is continues to strengthen this Cozy's media brand, and then we'll provide the tools, provide the utilities, provide encouragement, provide the workshops and the environment for people to take it further beyond with their Cozy's NFTs.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thanks,
You're
Aisha.
welcome.
Alrighty, we got Captain Levi up next, and guys, we're running out of time here, so just try to keep these questions high level. Aisha, great questions as always. Captain Levi, you are up, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I'm having just some problems the audio connection. Okay, so the thing is, it's a really great explanation. You've actually you touched a little bit on the marketing, but I wanted to talk about will I say the search? I ran Cozies, especially the Twitter handle at Cozies Official on Google. I ran it on Bing search. I also ran it on DuckDuckGo, but the results they were giving me was quite different. In fact, I am still yet to see the Twitter handle. I wanted asking, have you guys done anything about search engine optimization so that when they search the project, at least they can see it as one of the first 3 or 5 results on major search engines?
Sure. We're launching a website something this week, and we already spoke to a lot of media partners to be publishing a press release of sorts. So we're fully aware. Thank you for reminding us of kind of search engine optimization, and on top of that, things will be. We expect you to find the website on the first search when you type in Google in the coming 1-2 weeks. But at the moment, we're in a rolling phase of release, and website's coming up, white paper is coming together. So don't worry, you'll be able to navigate, find us on Google really soon.
All right. I was actually wondering because although not really all the projects, but for something as with all the unique features that you have, it's something that if I happen to search it, it will just bring out the best results. I think that will be all the questions for now from my end. I really wish you guys the best, and I hope that the project stays bullish onward. Over to you, Noah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Western.
Thanks.
And we got Sayed, and then we're gonna wrap things up.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. Okay, so you are planning on launching around 10,000 Cozies NFT soon after the Ethereum proof of stake merger on the Ethereum blockchain. I understand about all the hype and excitement around the Ethereum merger, but I want to know that why did you decide to launch Cozies NFT on Ethereum rather than on your own X Tingles NFT marketplace, which is on Flow blockchain?
Right. We think that first of all, we have an interesting relationship with Flow blockchain. I think that Flow's, in terms of the grand scheme of things, Flow blockchain is really narrowing in themselves to become a sports NFTs blockchain. I think that Flow has been really wonderful, but for us to really take it on to the mainstream, there needs to be some basic infrastructure things that are in place. For instance, it's really hard for anyone to buy Flow or even FUSD, their native stablecoin, to buy into any other purchases. It's really, really hard. Even their designated partner, like their the block even on the wallet infrastructure side, I think there's a lot of handicap that we're noticing with the entire ecosystem. I think for Flow to hit it in the mainstream, it still takes some time, especially when we have a strong faith and belief that in order for us to get to the most people out there, I think that Ethereum is primed. After POS, is primed to outscale any blockchains that we know of, and as well as it is just a possibility. Ethereum can flip Bitcoin, just a possibility, right? Because once POS arrives, we're talking about super fast speeds and super cheap transaction fees and super highly scalable blockchain, and there's so many things that are coming into this current Ethereum space. And also Ethereum's been in the game for such a long time, so you think about kind of our next progression of where we want to take Cozies. Obviously we want to establish our own DAO, right? And with the given tools that we have today, with Collabland, with all the different voting systems, with all the different DAO tools, I think Ethereum is on a prime time to further expand on the DAO. And I think that I think last year the buzzword for more people is NFT. This year is Web3. Next year we believe it's going to be DAO. Everything, right? So we believe that sticking with Ethereum is going to prepare us for a bigger, longer journey ahead, and it's going to scale to even way more people out there. So I think that the decision of Ethereum is the right one. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the explanation and love the NFT art. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Noah.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate all the effort that you guys have put in again into this project. And before you go, just quick high level, give us a quick summary of who you guys are, what you're building, and what you have planned for the future, and then we'll wrap things up.
Adrian, mic is yours.
Sure. Well, we're very passionate Web3 natives that want to create remarkable IP that resonates with the innermost desires of a person to be healthy, to be comfortable with who they are, and to love themselves and the people around them in order to make the world a better place. And we look forward to working with amazing professionals to continue growing our team, which is already quite big, and of course to communicate with our holders in our exclusive community. And we look forward for every one of you to be part of the journey. Andrew, do you want to add something?
Yeah, so we're here to bring forth our grand vision, right? Is to bring forth this cozy ideology to the Web3 space of just being comfortable with who you are, right? What you own and where you go. And just remember, happiness is a choice. It starts with feeling cozy.
I love it. Andrew, Adrian, thank you guys so much. Whale Coin Talk community, thank you everyone for joining today. Remember, we choose 2 winners at the end of the AMA to win a 50 BUSD prize. Those winners are Itachi Legacy and Kirmizi Tuborg. .nft. I've messaged you both asking for your wallet addresses. So once you provide those, you will be sent your prize. I want to again thank the Whale Coin Talk community, but more importantly, thank the Cozy community and their amazing speakers for being with us today. My name is Noah, signing off.
Thank you, Noah. Thank you to the Whale Coin community and everyone who listened to us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Stay cozy.
Stay cozy.
Yeah, stay cozy.
Oh, and one more thing. Remember that Whale Coin Talk is an educational channel. We do not give financial advice, guys. So always do your own research, invest only what you're willing to lose, and be safe out there. Take care. Bye-bye.